Hey there, welcome to the channel. Greetings from Koh Samui. In this video, I want to go through and react to a recent documentary that was released on Context. I'll leave a link in the description below where you can watch the entire video. The title is Why the White Lotus Could Be Bad for Thailand. So if you don't know already, The White Lotus is on season 3 now. It's an HBO series, very, very popular. And this season was shot almost entirely in Koh Samui, a few scenes in Phuket as well. So a lot of people are expecting it to bring a huge surge of tourists to Koh Samui based on the previous 2 seasons, which were shot in Hawaii and Sicily in Italy. So in this video, I'm just going to go through this documentary and provide some color commentary and some insights about what's being discussed. So enjoy the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's get started. So here we go.
This is where The White Lotus Season 3 was filmed. And this is the landfill next door. Koh Samui, the island hotspot drawing in tourists from all over the world, is actually in the middle of a trash crisis. It's also running out of water, fast.
เพราะว่าสมุยเนี่ยมันน้ำใช้ไม่ค่อยพอไม่มีด้วย
He says no water. I don't think it's quite as big of an issue as they're making it out to be, because they do have some very large watersheds here, which are pretty much usually full. So, but we'll get into that later.
The Thai government is luring film productions like The White Lotus to draw more tourism. But with an island already facing a drought and trash crisis, can Koh Samui survive the White Lotus effect? So what is the White Lotus effect?
White Lotus.
White Lotus.
White Lotus fever has transitioned to widespread wanderlust.
After season 2 aired, searches for Sicily doubled, hotels were suddenly booked for months, and hotspots like this beach became even...
So here's a beach in Sicily, which became very, very busy, partially because of the HBO series White Lotus. I'm sure there are many other contributing factors as well.
We saw in Italy at least a 50% increase year on year in terms of people's interest in going.
We have welcomed 10,000 of guests.
So how are locals feeling about a similar thing happening in Koh Samui?
This is the Centaura Reserve, which is a 5-star luxury resort in Chaweng. So they're going to be speaking with someone who works there.
My first thought was, wow, they're going to bring a lot of tourism to the area.
Sai Charu Kalasa works as the front of house manager at this luxury hotel.
When the tourists
Beautiful hotel, by the way. I highly recommend staying here if you can afford it when you come on vacation to Samui.
grows, I grow. And when it goes down, I go down as well, especially, for example, during the pandemic.
Here's a chart showing tourism numbers to Thailand over the last 10 years. You can see the hit they took during the pandemic.
During the pandemic, there were almost no tourists here, and I was here pretty much all through the pandemic as well. But the situation has improved dramatically over the past couple years, 2022 and 2023, 2024, and now moving into 2025.
And are still not fully recovered. This is a big deal in a country where tourism makes up as much as 12% of its GDP. Has set the record-setting goal of attracting 40 million international tourists in 2025. The White Lotus is already helping.
We're seeing, since the word has got out in terms of it being in Thailand, a big spike in increase of people wanting to go to these places as well. So, easily into the sort of 30-40% in terms of inquiries already. And that's before it's even come to air.
But there's a problem. A few miles away from the luxury hotels and endless beaches sits this. Koh Samui's landfill, a mountain of over 150 tons of rubbish waiting to be shipped to the mainland.
I actually drove over to that trash dump recently just to kind of see. I can't actually go inside, but to see what it smells like. And it didn't smell terrible. But sometimes when you drive through this area, if the wind picks up, you can smell the trash from the dump. And it's not too pleasant.
Thailand's incinerator broke down more than a decade ago and hasn't been replaced. Even though
so they just mentioned right there the incinerator broke down, which is in charge of burning all the trash. And it broke down years ago, which it hasn't been fixed yet. So you would think that they would actually do something to fix the incinerator, but so far hasn't happened.
She lives about 1 kilometer from the landfill. Samaporn Boonsa says that the smell of trash makes its way into her home every day.
ที่เราอยู่ใกล้กองขยะนะคะที่เรา ต้องเจอเลยก็คือ1ต้องอดทนเรื่องกลิ่น2ก็คือความเสี่ยงเรื่องน้ำเสียอันนี้ก็คือเป็นสิ่งที่แบบว่าเราต้องทนถ้าเรายังไม่ย้ายออกจากตรงนี้เราก็ต้องอยู่แบบนี้ค่ะแล้วถ้า
On top of this, wastewater from the landfill has polluted the local canal. This has forced her to buy a water filter for washing and cleaning, as well as bottles of water for drinking. Samaporn is frustrated that the local government seems to prioritize tourism over the well-being of her and her neighbors.
รู้สึกไม่ยุติธรรมกับชุมชนตรงนี้นะคะทุกคนร่วมสร้างขยะแต่ทำไมคนตรงนี้ต้องมารับกรรมจากขยะที่ทุกคนทิ้ง
Samaporn has good reason.
It's a really good point. I mean, they're prioritizing tourism over the local community and the environment here, which is not good.
To be skeptical of a tourism boom. The thing is, Thailand has been here before. It happened more than 20 years ago with the release of an international hit, The Beach.
Somewhere paradise must exist.
The Leonardo DiCaprio film was shot on location at Maya Bay on the Thai island of Phi Phi Lay, drawing millions to this beach.
Everybody can see it, like there's so many people.
This wreaked havoc on the...
Of course, this is apples and oranges. I mean, the Beach is a world-famous movie based on a novel, which is actually really good, written by Alex Garland. Highly recommend reading that book. But The Beach is way more popular than White Lotus. But it's still going to have an impact on tourism here for sure.
Local ecosystem. So much so that in 2018, it had to be closed down. After it was reopened in 2022, strict limits were placed on the amount of tourists that can visit per day.
We don't talk about, closing everywhere, but I think we're talking about managing it wisely.
With Koh Samui, Thailand has a second chance, but there is a major problem. The island is running out of water.
วันนี้มีออเดอร์อยู่เช้านี้นะประมาณ5-6
This is true. Supply and demand. I mean, with a huge number of tourists coming here, it's difficult to keep up with the water system here.
ประมาณ7แต่เดี๋ยวมันก็จะโทรเข้ามาเรื่อย
The water crisis has forced Koh Samui to rely on private sellers like Mr. Parasat Langlongsa.
ๆเราก็เอารถเทียบเพื่อส่งน้ำลงรถแล้วก็เอาไปส่งลูกค้า
Known locally as water runners, they charge around $7 per delivery of 2,000 litres. These costs are especially hard on residents and businesses.
ได้รับประโยชน์จากการท่องเที่ยวเยอะมากเพราะลูกค้าส่วนมากเนี่ยจะเป็นคนต่างชาติก็เยอะนะครับเพราะการท่องเที่ยวเนี่ยเราบูมเรื่องการท่องเที่ยวเสมอแต่สมุยลำบากอยู่อย่างเดียวคือน้ำ
There we go. There's my cameo in the video. This is a featured video from Songkran back in 2024.
For most tourists, this is the Koh Samui they are familiar with. During the Thai New Year, the island transforms into a giant water fight. But for a lot of residents, this is closer to reality.
It used to be like really this, you can see like the point of here.
Dr. Kanapa Chil-chan was born and raised here. Now, she's a recent...
This is one of the main watersheds located in Nam Muang, and it's close to the stadium, so you can exercise around here, and it's surrounded by this watershed. So when it rains a lot, this thing fills all the way up. But there's certain times when it's super low. So, I mean, this supplies most of the southern and eastern side of part of the island, I believe, with water.
Researcher working on water-saving projects on the island.
This year we face a critical water shortage because it started to dry since like the early of the year. It's supposed to have like monsoon and heavy rains, but now it's still so dry.
An undersea pipeline supplies the island with around 21,000 cubic meters of water.
Wow, I didn't know that. Undersea pipeline supplies the island with around 21,000 cubic meters of water a day, which I didn't realize.
A day. Short of the 30,000 cubic meters the local government says the island desperately needs. Kanapa says tourism is making the problem worse.
There are a lot of overconsumption, especially from the tourism sector. Include like resorts, restaurants, pool villa. We have a lot of pool villas, and also the luxury hotel that consume a lot of water.
We took these concerns about Koh Samui's infrastructure to the island's mayor. To our surprise, he admitted that they are not prepared.
เราก็ต้องยอมรับว่าเรายังไม่เสถียรเท่าไหร่ในการรองรับ
He said the island is starting some preparations. It is expanding its airport facilities to increase flights onto the island. And there are plans to build a new pipeline to aid the island's water shortage and fix the broken incinerator. But as of publication, the dates for these haven't been set.
We're not asking for much, but
this
safety
guy, I know.
on the road.
He's the president of Tourism Association in Koh Samui, Pusawadi. I know this guy.
We have enough lights, electricity, we have enough water for business.
In the meantime, the country's tourism agency is doubling down on their strategy to lure film and TV shows here.
They are filming in Thailand now at the moment. I'm very happy.
This is Sirupakul Charasamut. He was part of the White Lotus deal, which forked over $4 million in incentives to HBO.
Wow, $4 million. Jeez.
Which didn't respond to requests to comment for this.
We did a big celebrations after they say yes.
He's with the Tourism Authority of Thailand, TAT. Interesting.
That was, well, one of a kind, meaningful moment for Thailand.
It's part of something much bigger happening here. In 2023, the country brought in a record $190 million through film.
$190 million from foreign film production revenue. That is a lot of money.
Productions. Charasamut says this benefits all parts of the Thai economy.
150 at least movie were filmed here in Thailand. If we keep this momentum with the special offer, I'm quite optimistic about the Thailand filming location in the future.
A few Four Seasons where most of the film was shot, which is located in close to Bangpur.
2 miles down the road from where the White Lotus was shot, there is a buzz in the air.
Yes, I heard about White Lotus.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course, I heard about it.
I can see new developments. I can see hotel opening up.
Well, I hope it doesn't get too famous and popular because then it gets expensive here.
Yeah, we'll rise the cost of living as well as more and more tourists are coming and everything's going to be fully booked.
More than 20 years after the release of The Beach in theaters, Kanapa is worried that the island she grew up on is making similar mistakes.
I don't think majority of the money from the tourism sector go to local people, local community. I think it's go to the big business, big investor.
Makes sense. I would think so too.
But I don't see this is enough.
Our main pool
we need to use the money that's coming from tourism to support the local community, the local people that grew up here. Population of Samui, I think local is around 60,000 or so.
The most relaxing pool, we know already what's going to happen. We know already what is coming. We had a lesson from the Maya Beach, and I'm sure that we can do it better this time.
Fingers crossed. So that's the documentary on Context. It was released 11 days ago, 46,000 views so far. You can also read the description as well. But yeah, I think this was an interesting take on the White Lotus effect. And it should be interesting to see how it all plays out. Like I say, I already watched the first 2 episodes. It's pretty good. I actually prefer the previous 2, but hopefully seasons, I should say. Hopefully it gets better. And I think it's going to be good for the economy in Samui moving forward. And we're just going to have to figure out how to deal with the infrastructure issues and water and trash, which I know can be done with the right resources. We've got plenty of smart people here in the government and TAT as well. And I've also done a lot to promote Samui over the past 4 years myself through this YouTube channel and my Facebook page and these places as well. So we'll see how it plays out, and stay tuned for more videos from Samui. I'll be going to Vietnam in March for about a month, and then I'm headed back to Thailand after that. So stay tuned. Take care. Thanks for watching. Signing off. Peace from Thailand.